Hello, welcome to Academica Study. We are here to discuss the first chapter from the science textbook of the 7th class, Nutrition in Plants. We have some topics to discuss in this chapter like nutrients and nutrition, mode of nutrition, photosynthesis, which is food making process in the plants, other modes of nutrition in plants, saprotrophs, replenishment of nutrients in the soil. After all above discussions, we will move on to NCERT solutions. Coming to the first topic, nutrients and nutrition. What are nutrients? These are called food components, which are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. And all living organisms like humans, animals, and plants require food which contain these nutrients to survive. And now, nutrition. Nutrition is nothing but the mode of taking food by any organism and its utilization in their bodies. We also need to learn some facts that plants are the only organisms that can prepare food for themselves by using raw materials like water, carbon dioxide, and minerals. And this is how nutrients helps any organisms. Nutrients enables living organisms to build their bodies, to grow, to repair damaged parts of their body and provide energy to carry out life processes like respiration, excretion, etc. etc. Now, modes of nutrition. There are majorly two types of modes of nutrition. First one is autotrophic nutrition and the second one is heterotrophic nutrition. From the name itself, we can infer what autotrophic nutrition is. It is the mode of nutrition in which organisms make food themselves from simple substances. And such organisms which use autotrophic nutrition is called autotrophs. For example, green plants. And the second one, heterotrophic nutrition, the mode of nutrition in which organisms depend directly or indirectly on others for food is called heterotrophic nutrition, and such organisms are called heterotrophs. And for example, animals and most of other organisms, we are also the same thing. We usually depend on others, so we can also put ourselves in heterotrophic nutrition or heterotrophs. Now we have the most important topic in this chapter, that is photosynthesis, which is food making process in the plants. Leaves of the plants are called food factories, and if it is factory, then it needs raw materials to come up with a final product for the plant. And where these raw materials come from? These raw materials come from the soil and air, water and minerals that is present in soil that are taken out through the vessels in the roots, branches and stems, and carbon dioxide from the air taken through stomata, the tiny pores present on the surface of leaves surrounded by guard cells. Now everything is fine with the raw materials, but what next thing is needed? That is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a green pigment present in leaves which helps leaves to capture sunlight's energy to synthesize or prepare food in the presence of sunlight from carbon dioxide and water during photosynthesis. And for your understanding, it can be noted that the sun is the ultimate source of energy for all living organisms on this earth. Now we have the definition of photosynthesis, that is a process by which plants in the presence of the sunlight convert carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates and give off oxygen. And it can be represented as equation given below, and you can see the same process in the picture given on the right side. And we have some facts to remember, that photosynthesis is a unique process on this earth. That means there doesn't exist anything like photosynthesis. And in the second, we can easily understand that we already discussed in the photosynthesis process. That is, the necessary ingredients for photosynthesis to be carried out are chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. And third one is the starch. Starch is also a carbohydrate made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And we will discuss some of the experiment which indicates the presence of starch in the leaves, which tells us the occurrence of photosynthesis. And the fourth one tells us that photosynthesis can also take place in green stem and branches. And we have the lab example of desert plants. Desert plants doesn't have leaves. Instead of leaves, they have spine and scale, which helps leaves to reduce water loss due to transpiration. Transpiration is the process by which plants lose water through pores present over it and the guard cells present on the leaves. You might have also observed leaves of different color in your surroundings. These leaves also carry chlorophyll, but the large amount of red, brown, and other pigments mask that color of green. And the iodine test will tell you the presence of chlorophyll in these leaves. Iodine test is the test in which you use iodine solution to find whether it contains a starch or not. Now, algae. Algae are the slimy green patches like organisms generally grow in ponds or stagnant water bodies that also prepare their own food by photosynthesis, since they also contain chlorophyll in it. Till now, we have discussed the synthesis of carbohydrates. Now we see the synthesis of plant food other than carbohydrates. Plants also synthesize protein and fats by using of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen present in carbohydrates. Proteins are nitrogenous substances which contain nitrogen, but plant can only absorb nitrogen in usable form, which is nitrite and nitrates. And these we will discuss in our next chapters, along with water from the soil through their roots, but not directly from the air. In this slide of other modes of nutrition in plants, we can see plants with no chlorophyll, they use heterotrophic mode of nutrition, like humans and animals. For example, Cuscuta, and we call it Amarbel in Hindi. Now, the host is an animal or plant that harbors another organism inside or near the body in a symbiotic relationship. In short, a plant or animal on which another organisms survive. And the host is the tree. And here the parasite is a plant or an animal that lives on another organism for food or nutrition components. And here's the example, Coscuta, which is in yellow color, which is living over the tree, the host. An insectivorous plant. By the name itself, we can understand that plants which use heterotrophic mode and they eat insect by using different techniques. Like pitcher plant, it traps insects when got entangled into the downward hair present inside the pitcher fitted with a lid at the top and digest them with the help of digestive juices and absorb its nutrition. And the another example of other modes of nutrition of plant is saprotrophic nutrition, the mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients from dead and decaying matter. is called saprotrophic nutrition. Such organisms are called saprotrophs, like fungi. Fungi grow on pickles, leather, clothes, and other articles that are left in hot and humid weather for a long time. And for example, for fungi are mushrooms and yeast. Note: saprotrophs are not green plants, so they lack chlorophyll and cannot make food by photosynthesis. Fungal spores generally present in the air. Some fungi can cause disease in plants and some are used as medicine. So many types of use of saprotrophs. Symbiosis. Symbiosis is a relationship or interaction among different organisms in which they share both shelter and nutrients and benefit each other. For example, lichens. Lichen is a symbiotic relationship between a fungus and chlorophyll containing partner, an algae, in which the fungus provides shelter and water to algae in return. The algae prepare and provides food to the fungus. And at the end, we'll discuss replenishment of nutrition in the soil. Since plants use excess nutrients from the soil, there is a declination of nutrients in the soil. And to replenish that nutrition in the soil, we'll use fertilizers and manure to enrich the soil with nutrition. Fertilizers and manure containing nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. are added to the soil by farmers to fulfill the requirement of plants, which also help enriching the soil. This is how we replenish the nutrition in the soil. At the last, we'll know about rhizobium. Rhizobium, it is a bacterium which converts atmospheric nitrogen into usable form, like we already discussed nitrates and nitrites. For plants, generally lives in the roots of leguminous plants like peas, moong, bees, dals, etc. And in return, plants provide food and shelter to rhizobium. This is another example of a symbiotic relationship. This is why farmers need not to use nitrogenous fertilizers on the field where legumes grow. Now, finally, NCERT solutions. We will work out why do organisms take food? Organisms take food because it contains nutrients which help their bodies grow, repair damaged parts, fight and protect against different diseases, and provide energy to carry out life processes like respiration, digestion, excretion, reproduction, movement, photosynthesis, etc. And we will distinguish between a parasite and saprotroph. Parasite, it feeds on living organisms called the host, and saprotrophs, it feeds on dead and decaying matters. This is only the difference between these two. How would you test the presence of starch in leaves? Like we already discussed, the presence of starch in leaves can be tested by iodine test. When we remove chlorophyll from the leaf by boiling it in alcohol and then putting 2 drops of iodine solution, it is a color change to blue indicates the presence of starch. Give a brief description of the process of synthesis of food in green plants. We'll just note down all the points from photosynthesis here. Show with the help of sketch that plants are ultimate source of food. Here is just a testament and relationship between the sunlight, energy, green plants, herbivores, carnivores, decomposers. Actually, it is decomposers, printing mistake. Fill in the blanks. Green plants are called autotrophs since they synthesize their own food. The food synthesized by plants is stored as what? Starch. In photosynthesis, solar energy is absorbed by the pigment called what? Chlorophyll. During photosynthesis, plants take in what? Carbon dioxide and release oxygen. Name the following. First, a parasite plant with yellow, slender, and branched stem. Like the picture on the tree, yellow in color, cuscuta. A plant that is partially autotrophic. Answer is insectivorous plant. Third, the pores through which leaves exchange gases. Answer stomata. Take the correct answer. Cuscuta is an example of what? Autotroph, parasite, saprotrophs, or host. Parasite. The plant which traps feeds on insect is what? Cuscuta, China rose, pitcher plants, rose. Which one? Pitcher plant. Match the items given in column 1 with those in column 2 and why they pair each other. Chlorophyll. Leaf contains chlorophyll, so it will be paired between these two. Nitrogen pairs with rhizobium as rhizobium help convert nitrogen for plants in leguminous plants. Cuscuta. It is a parasite which lives on a host. Animals, like no doubt heterotrophs, and insects. Pitcher plant feed on insects too. True and false question. Carbon dioxide is released during photosynthesis. False. Oxygen is released. Plants which synthesize their food are called saprotrophs. False. Plants are called autotrophs. The product of photosynthesis is not a protein. True. It is glucose and oxygen with energy. Solar energy is converted into chemical energy during photosynthesis. True. Solar is changed into chemical energy during photosynthesis. Choose the correct option from the following. Which part of the plant takes in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis? Root, hair, stomata, leaf veins, petals. Which one? Stomata. Choose the correct option from the following. Plants take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere mainly through their leaves. At the end, why do farmers grow many fruits and vegetables crops inside large greenhouse? What are the advantages of the farmers? Answer. Greenhouses offers a feature to trap required temperature and humidity for fruits and vegetables, as that house are made up of glasses actually, and protect them from external adverse climate condition and diseases. Here the note why we use greenhouses and how carbon dioxide affect the surrounding in greenhouse for vegetation. It is also informative. Thanks and subscribe to my channel Academic Study for more lessons in very short time, and like and share to those who need this. Thank you.